And then I'm going to plug you into my big screen so I can see you better.
You're going to mute.
So nice to have this big screen so I don't have to try to, oh yeah, and then mute you guys. Okay. All right, I'm gonna mute everybody unless you have something really compelling to say. I'm doing it now. Okay, mute all. Sorry, I gotta look over to the side because I'm on my big screen now. Okay, all right. My plan, my glasses to see my plan. Okay. All right, so it's a beautiful summer day. And we're just gonna sit up tall for a moment, just feeling the spine lifting up tall. And feeling your sitting area relaxing towards the blankets. And roll the shoulders back and down and lift the center top of your head as if you're balancing a basket filled with fruit, your favorite fruit in the basket on top of your head. So you need to be lifting up like a pressing kind of action upwards and feeling also like gravity coming down. And then dropping down into the sit bones, allowing the hips and the legs to relax. And just feeling your breath in this position. So let's go ahead and put hands on, one on the chest, one on the upper belly, so right above the belly button, close to the lowest ribs. And keeping your mouth closed, breathe through the nostrils and feel the air moving in and out of your body. Feel how the air, as you inhale, pushes your body out into your hands. And then as you exhale, how your body recedes back. And the hands just follow. Now notice how much movement is underneath each hand. So you have the chest and the lower rib area, which is your diaphragm. And what we want to do with this, we're going to work on core breathing today. So dynamic breathing. And once you get the flow of your breath, you want to start to calm down the movement in the chest. So chest breathing amps up our nervous system and causes us to be a little more fragile to anxiety or worry, more prone to it, stress. So using this technique, you can relax and become more centered in yourself and calm by relaxing, just simply relaxing the movement in the chest. So the chest will move because the air passes through there. But more of the movement is happening in the lower hand where your diaphragm is. Your diaphragm is your major breathing muscle. So when you inhale, you can even push a little bit into your lower hand. And then as you exhale, feel your hand drawing back. And then the chest hand still remains rather passive. So try to exaggerate a little bit just to get the feeling of it as you inhale. pressing out, and not only forward into the hand right in front, but all the way around. So if you're wearing a bra or like a tank top that's maybe a little tighter, you can feel all the way around the pressing into that clothing, or you can just imagine that circumferential broadening, side ribs, back ribs, and then as you exhale, it draws in, narrows in. So let's go ahead and take the hand that's on the chest now and bring it to the lower belly. So now you have one hand above the belly button and one hand below the belly button. And with our core breathing, it always engages on an exhale. So now we're going to start working on the lower abdomen, engaging the lower abdomen. So you'll just feel, we're not going to get super active with it right now. You're just going to notice that your lower abdomen also moves as you inhale, pressing into your hand. And as you exhale, drawing back, and the hand follows. So don't try to take bigger breaths as we do this. There's a tendency as you work with the breath to have the breath get bigger. Not necessary. Just pay attention to the breath and actually keep it soft. Now starting to work with the abdominal muscle engagement, let's just work with the lower abdomen. And so as you exhale, you want to feel that the area between the pubic bone and the navel are getting shorter, like there's a bungee cord there. And as you exhale, the bungee cord is tightening up. So between the pubic bone and the navel becomes a shorter distance as you exhale. And then as you inhale, you can just allow that area to release and expand. And you're still very passive in the chest, even though your hand isn't there. You're still noticing that you're not chest breathing, but more of the action is in the lower body, the lower ribs and abdomen. So continue as you inhale to just feel that little bit of a expansion on the inhale underneath the hands, both of them. And then as you exhale, that bungee cord shortening up there in the lower abdomen. You might feel it in the upper abdomen too. That's fine. We're just focusing a little bit more on the lower abs. And then one more breath that way, inhaling, opening, just allowing that area to relax. And now as you exhale, see if you can engage, drawing up. So you want to make sure that you're not using the buttock muscles. They oftentimes want to get involved here. You're using your abdominal muscles. With that in mind, let's just do one more time. Keep the buttock area soft and passive, just sitting on your blankets. And then as you exhale, it's the abdomen that's drawing in and up. And now you can just take your next inhalation, release your hands, and go ahead and exhale. So let's try this in action in some of our movements, our yoga movements. Let your legs come out, stretch them out, press through the heels, pull the toes back, just open the backs of the legs a little bit, and then come down onto your backs and have your knees bent. So we're going to go right into active core breathing. So with movement. And actually, before we get started, if you have a block and a strap close by, please drag them closer in, easy to get, a block and a strap. Okay. All right, so on your backs with the knees bent, and so let's take both knees in towards the chest with one hand on top of each kneecap with the fingers pointing down towards the toes. So you don't want to use your arms necessarily to wrench your legs in. You want to, as you exhale, use that lower abdominal bungee cord. So as you inhale, you feel the inflation of the belly a little bit. And then as you exhale, feel that area, the lower belly, activating the legs to come in. Very passive in the arms. Continue inhaling and letting the legs come out a little bit. And as you exhale, use that abdominal strength to draw the legs in. So Iris, take your hands on top of your knees, one hand on top of each knee, but you're not using your arms so much to yank the legs in. It's just a very passive support there. You don't let the legs come out farther than your arms can go. So it's actually not a very big movement. Draw the legs in with that little bungee zip of the lower abdomen. Okay, good. And then go ahead and put the feet to the floor and put your arms down alongside your body. Let's relax the shoulders. Make sure, let's take the inner arms open towards the ceiling, shoulder blades flat. Relax across the collarbones. And then just take a couple breaths here. And as you exhale, so you're just gonna have the legs on, feet on the floor. And as you exhale, see if you can do that little bungee cord from the pubic bone to the navel. See if you can kind of create a little hollow feeling in the lower abdomen as you exhale. Again, without squeezing the buttock muscles. So you have to keep the buttock muscles out of it. They're very strong muscles. If something's weak, they usually wanna step in and do the job. But let that be relaxed in that area and use your abdominal muscles to do the little bit of a squeeze so you feel your lower back relaxing to the floor or pressing into the floor more. That's how you know you're getting it, is there is a little bit more of a pressure in your lower back on the floor as you exhale. And what ends up happening too is that your shoulders will try to get involved and hitch up towards your ears or get all tense in the jaw or neck. So make sure you're relaxed there. All right, so finish your next inhale. And then as you exhale, lift your legs and bring them in with that abdominal cord without your hands. So the hands stay on the floor. Arms stay on the floor, inner arms open, shoulders relaxed. And now see if you can keep that abdominal engagement as you inhale, just as long as your arms go. You were just doing that, so not very far. Take the legs out. And then as you exhale, draw the knees in towards the chest. You can keep the heels dropped towards your bottom. You don't need to have the heels lifted. That makes it actually harder. So if your heels are dropped towards your buttocks, then it's a little easier. Only take your knees away just as far as your arms went that first time. Very small movement. But focus on that squeezing of the lower abdomen to draw the legs in towards the chest. The feet do not come back to the floor on the inhale, so the heels stay lifted off the floor. Good. All right, so you get that idea there. And now on your next inhale, you can bring your feet all the way down to the floor and relax any tension that might have crept up into the shoulders and the neck. Go ahead and roll the head back and forth a little bit and take your arms and kind of octopus them around a little bit on the floor just to release any tension that could have happened in your upper body. So these are muscles that some of us aren't used to using, and they're kind of hard to access. So what ends up happening is that reference comes into other areas that are used to taking on tension, usually the shoulders and the neck and the jaw. So relax there. Now find your block and put it between your thighs, or your book, or your box of cereal, whatever it is. Go ahead and bring it and put it between the thighs so you have a little bit of a squeeze there. Your feet are still on the floor. So now with this action, you get a little bit of the pelvic floor involved, which is a very important place for us, especially as women here, so that we can defy gravity and not have any prolapsing or incontinence creep into our realities. Okay, so go ahead and start to work with the feet on the floor, excuse me, feeling that abdominal zipper or bungee from the pubic bone to the navel. Feet are down, feet are on the floor, and you're just gently squeezing the block as you exhale, and especially is when you feel the little scooping action in the lower abdomen and the buttock area stays soft. And then you want to feel in the perineal area, so the pelvic floor, a drawing in and up as you exhale. So if you imagine the pelvic floor is kind of like a trampoline, or let's say a embroidery hoop. And as you exhale, there's a string in the center of your embroidery hoop that pulls the fabric up towards the belly button area, and actually the hoop itself will narrow. And then as you inhale, it just releases a little bit. It doesn't clunk down. You have control there. That's the main thing that tones your muscles, is that you can go slow with these little supportive muscles. So when you inhale, it's not just a total let go. It's a gentle release, just enough to get your inhale. Very subtle stuff going on here. So really hard for me to see, but I hope you can feel, in addition to the little zipper from the pubic bone to the navel, you're also getting that embroidery hoop, the drawing from the center up towards the navel, and the narrowing in of the hoop on your exhales. So this is for pelvic health. This is for core strength. This is for balance. This is for incontinence. This is for prevention of prolapse. This is for your reproductive health, your digestive health. So good. Now go ahead and finish your next exhale. Take an inhale, and then as you exhale, bring the knees back in towards the chest with the block. Arms are still down alongside your body. And now with that awareness of the lower abdomen and the pelvic floor, see if you can do that same thing where you exhale and draw the knees in towards the chest on their own, and only take the knees away as far as your arm length. And see if you feel a little bit more empowered. So the arms stay on the floor. Unless you have a really tender low back, you can use a gentle support of your arms. That's fine. But if you want a little more challenge, then just back and forth and use the muscles of your abdomen. Use the muscles of the pelvic floor and your inner thighs to help move the legs. Make sure that between the shoulder blades, across the collarbone, the neck, jaw area, stay soft. Good, and then go ahead and bring the feet to the floor, and you can take the block out. So you get the idea of where you're at. That's just some information without judgment. How hard was it? Where were your places that felt like they wanted to let go sooner than later? What places wanted to come in and rescue? Was it the buttocks? Was it the shoulders? Okay, so let's go ahead and do butterfly now with that same feeling in the pelvic floor and the scooping of the abdomen. So now the knees and feet are together. Make sure that your shoulders are still open, inner arms turned up towards the ceiling, palms open, and relax the face and the jaw. Now going with the breath, as you inhale, take the knees away from each other. So this is dynamic butterfly. So like butterfly wings, the knees move away from each other. And now as you exhale, there's that gentle squeeze of the block, the imaginary block, and the little zipper of the abdomen as the knees come together and the thighs touch. And then again, inhaling, take the legs wide, but do with control. Don't go to your maximum. So only go to like 75% of your butterfly wings. And then as you exhale, see if you can get the little scoop from the pubic bone to the navel and that drawing in and up of the pelvic floor. Imagining that embroidery hoop as you exhale and the drawing up from the center, the narrowing of the hoop. Good, and then again, also as you exhale, make sure that the buttock area is not trying to take control here. So you need to actually stay as soft as you can in that area. So this is one of the best things. So the feet are on the floor. Everybody's feet are on the floor as you do this. And so when you take the thighs towards each other, you want to feel a little bit of resistance. It's not just opening and closing like a, like a box or something, like a hinged box. It's more of a resistance. You want to feel like you're squeezing a squishy ball between the thighs, and the valve is open, so you're pushing the air out of that ball as you squeeze the thighs. And now keep going, because this is actually a really good, healthy thing to do several times. And now you're going to pause halfway. When your thighs come halfway to each other, you're going to pause both movement and breath, and then continue all the way. The rest of your breath and the rest of the movement, thighs touching. So again, on an inhale, the legs move out, the knees move away from each other about 75, 80%, not all the way. And then as you exhale, come halfway in with your little scoop and squeeze between the thighs and stop, breath and movement. And then continue to finish the breath, exhaling, and the thighs coming together. So it gives a little bit more of a view of what's happening there, a little bit more resistance to put that pause halfway. Good, and just do 3 more times, just like that, with the pause in the middle. Very important place to pay attention to every single day, because as we grow older, gravity is a force that is a continual energy that we have to work with. And so we can use it to our advantage and use it as a way to strengthen. Okay, good. So the last time the thighs come together, and then you can take the feet at hip width and just rest for a moment. So I asked you to have a strap. Does everybody have a strap close by? Can you take that strap and actually tuck your knees in and wrap it around back of both thighs? So you tuck your knees in and then wrap the strap around the back of both thighs. So one end of the strap is in each hand. And again, check those shoulders. Make sure that they're relaxed to the floor. The head and neck are soft. And if you can, bring the knees together, inner feet together, and draw the knees in towards the chest. So you have a laminate feeling between the thighs, the knees, and the inner feet. And then pull the toes back towards your shins so you feel active and open in the bottoms of the feet. Shoulders relaxed, and now as you inhale, stretch those legs up towards the ceiling or wherever they can go, and push up through the heels, toes still pull back. Good. And now as you exhale, bend the knees back in towards the chest again. So let's just do that 3 more times. Inhaling, just to waken up the backs of the legs. Take the heels up, open the toes, open the bottoms of the feet, and then gently exhale and draw the legs back in again. And don't forget your abdominal engagement as you exhale. I'm not going to let you take a vacation on those abs today till the end, till the end of class. So on your last time, so everybody, let's go ahead and on this last inhale, keep the legs lifted. So let's just stay there with the legs lifted. That's an inhale. And then as you exhale, draw the navel down towards the floor and keep legs stay lifted. And Debbie, if your legs are, if your lower back is bothering you, you can keep the knees at a 90-degree angle and do this. So again, on an inhale, reach up through the backs of the legs, and on an exhale, feel as if the belly button is drilling down towards the floor. And now on your next exhalation, you can tuck your knees in towards the chest. and feet to the floor, and take the strap out. Okay, so if you have a tender low back, then you can keep your knees bent, because we're actually working more with the abdominal core area here. So I don't want you to strain your back, although this does strengthen the back, but not at the expense of pain, okay, or ache or anything uncomfortable like that. Okay, so now you've just had a strap as your prop. You're going to take your arms down alongside your body now. Again, relaxing the neck, shoulders, jaw. Tuck the knees in towards the chest. Knees and feet together if you can. Arms stay down alongside your body. Those of you who have tender low backs are not going to stretch the legs all the way up, just within your comfort zone. And on an inhale, stretch the legs up. And on an exhale, keep the legs up and draw the navel down towards the floor. Inhale back up through the legs, and as you exhale, tuck the knees in towards the chest. So you're using that same abdominal core strength, the squeeze of your imaginary block. On your next inhale, take those legs up again. Bend your knees so that your legs, your thighs can be vertical. And now exhale, drawing the navel down towards, legs stay lifted as you exhale and draw the navel down towards the floor. Then inhale and reach up through those legs. And then exhale, and you can bring your knees in towards your chest. Okay, put your feet down on the floor for a sec. I have a feeling you guys need to rest. So what we're trying to do here is to incrementally increase your ability to use your abdominals. And so as you're breathing here, you're still working with that. Let's do one more time. And when the legs are lifted, you take one exhalation and the lower back drops to the floor. Okay, so draw the knees in towards the chest. Shoulders and neck relaxed. And on an inhale, take the legs up so that the thigh bones are vertical. And now exhale and draw the navel down towards the floor, like a corset is happening around your waist. And then take your inhale, exhale, tuck your knees in towards your chest. And one last time on this round. On your next inhale, bring the legs up. Take your exhale to strengthen your back down towards the floor. Shoulders, neck relaxed. Inhale in that position, and exhale, bring the knees in and the feet down. Excellent. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll over to the side. And come up to sitting. And I'm going to mute all. Oh no, unmute. Dang it. Okay. Sorry, what I'm looking for is some feedback. And I'm trying to work with our microphones, but it's not really sorry. It's difficult to work with my computer in one hand and my big screen in the other. Okay, well, if you have anything to say, I'm going to invite you to unmute yourself. For those of you who it's maybe a little easier to get to that. As we go into the standing poses, I want to make sure that there was some connection between yourself and the muscles that we were working with.
Llewellyne,
Yeah.
I find that really difficult because, you know, I have that lower back problem, yeah. And it's flared up just past week. And so it was really uncomfortable. So I can do it one leg at a time, but not so much two legs at the same time.
Okay, so at the beginning of class, definitely a good thing to mention. I don't think I remember you telling me that, because then, you know, what I had was if your lower back feels a little tender, you can keep your legs at a 90-degree angle and work on it like this. And then you don't have the tension of the, especially if you can't get the legs all the way vertical, then you end up putting a lot of pressure on your back with that cantilever. So this is okay to work with it that way. You can take your chair even and do it this way. And then you can really get the, so with the knees bent, it's so much easier to get the feeling and not put the strain on your back. So it's all the same instruction, it's just what the legs are doing, because the legs are heavy and the lower back supports the legs. And so if you have the legs in sort of this cantilevered position, then your lower back has to work really hard. And if it's weak and you're asking it to work more, it's gonna feel like what Debbie said, it's gonna hurt. So does that help, Debbie, with the idea of putting the legs up on the chair and working with it that way? Okay, even with the knees bent, if you didn't have a chair close by, just keep your knees bent, or have them up in the air without on a chair. That would be like the second level of leg strength that you could start working with. So there's definitely options. We don't want you to feel uncomfortable, especially if you have something flared up. Laura, was there something over here?
Oh, I kept having like a Charlie horse in my upper thigh.
Okay, yeah.
That was weird. I don't know what causes that, but every time I'd go to do it, it was like, and I don't know if you noticed, but I'd have to keep sticking my leg out trying to get rid of the Charlie horse.
And so that was when the legs were lifted? When the legs were straight up, was happening?
Yeah.
Okay, so what ends up happening if the Charlie horse or cramps is you're using your muscles stronger than maybe they're used to working, or maybe they're just not hydrated. Hydration is another piece. So then you get this Charlie horse because your body's like, I'm not gonna, you know, like it's sort of the body's response. So a cramp is a body's response to, I don't have enough oxygen in my muscle right now to support this action.
Oh.
And so, yeah, and so kind of similar to Debbie. I don't know if you can see this from where you're at, but I like using this post in my little space here, because then I can stretch my legs up the post, and Debbie, you can do this too. And then if I want to, I can take my heels away a little bit if I want to try it out, but I have my heels on the post to support my legs. I'm still, because this has to contract, front thighs have to contract, but I have the support of the post. And then as I exhale, I can just release that. And so my butt is not all the way up to the wall. I have about maybe 6 inches away from the wall. If you're tighter in the back legs, you want to be farther away from the wall. So that's one way that you can avoid, you can still work that muscle, because it's not that you don't want to work that muscle. In fact, we want to get that muscle like on board, you know, like you can do this. But the post or the wall can help that muscle learn a little bit more about how to gently engage rather than gripping hard. Yeah. Anyone else with the breathing? What about the pelvic floor? Nancy Ewert?
Well, I thought the cues were great, because when I lift my legs up like that normally, I think I use my quads a lot more because they're strong. And so that was really great to try to not focus on to focus on the abdomen, the lower abs, and the pelvic floor. That was really a good cue, because I normally wouldn't be doing that.
Awesome. Okay, good. Yeah. And the floor is a really nice reference when we're on our backs for that, for the abdominals to pull back towards the floor and have that support, and then you know that they're actually working.
Yeah.
Good. Anyone else before we get into the standing poses? Because the gravity's a whole different thing in the standing poses that we're working with. Okay, all right, well, let's go ahead and stand up. And let's take again our blocks. So you don't need a chair right now, but we will need one in just a bit. All right, so the usual spot for the block, right between the thighs. And I'm actually going to shift my screen a little bit so that my upper body can be seen no better. All right, so when you are in the standing position, the feet are your foundation now. So make sure the feet are even on the floor. Go ahead and bend the knees a little bit, and keep the knees bent, and as you exhale, take this off. You want to feel the little zipper zipping up. So you don't want to do this tuck of the tail. That's not what we're looking for. You're looking for a little bit of a zipper in the front, especially if you tend to be more of a tucker of your tail. If you tend to take your buttock bones underneath you, you do not want to emphasize that. What we want to do is work on the front. Where's that bungee cord as you exhale? And it might not be a huge movement. That's fine. You just want to feel, let's take your hand there, just like we did when we were sitting at the beginning, and see in a standing position now. And so the block is helping support the pelvic floor. So as you gently squeeze the block, you can feel the lift of the pelvic floor. Again, a different orientation to gravity, that embroidery hoop and the string that pulls up from the middle towards the back of the belly button. And can you feel when you exhale the lower abdomen engaging? That's all you want to feel. With your hand there on the lower abs. As you exhale, can you feel a little bungee from the pubic bone to the navel? Okay, that's mostly what you want to feel. Okay, now, what about the buttocks? Are they're firm because you're standing, but they're not clenched, okay? All right, so now, as you exhale, see if you can bring that engagement into the abdomen, and then as you inhale, can you keep a little bit of that, what I call like a safety net? So when you inhale, it's not just like a falling forward like that. You maintain, without tension in the shoulders, your support of the abdomen. Okay, now see if you can keep that engagement and take the palms together in front of the chest. And as you inhale, you're going to open the upper body. So this is the upper back stuff. See if you can squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other without pushing the belly forward. Uh-oh, seeing some of that. Exhale and bring the hands back together. Okie doke. We're going to take one hand on the lower abdomen. As soon as I had you guys open up your arms, it was like, okay, where you're just letting, some of you were just letting it all hang out when you took your arms open. So let's just take one hand, and we're just going to do the same movement just with one arm, and one hand is checking on that lower ab, making sure it doesn't pop forward. So on an inhale, widen that one arm back, but maintain the lower abdomen, that bungee there. And then as you exhale, bring the arm back. So it's harder. You have to, as you inhale, you have to maintain the strength of the lower belly without tension in the upper body. Okay, good. And now let's switch. Other arm, whatever arm it is. So you're checking that lower belly, making sure as you inhale, it doesn't just pop forward. You're not taking that pelvis forward. Exhaling back is a little bit more of a bungee action. And again, inhaling, taking that arm out without the belly coming forward, and exhale back. The belly should feel very stable. Now both hands, see if we can do, so you keep your mind's eye on the belly pelvic area. As you inhale, open the arms without popping your belly. Squeeze the upper back. Exhale and bring the palms together. Inhale and take the arms open, gentle squeeze on that block. And then as you exhale, see if you can lift up from the center of the embroidery hoop up to the navel. Okay, now inhale and take the arms out. Okay, we're still working on upper back stuff, and flip the palms open. So here we're getting the wrists to open like you have trays of your favorite beverages and you are carrying them, and you need to be very, you have even one on your head. You have a tray of your favorite beverages on your head. So you need to be nice and even there. So now as you inhale, you're going to keep the hands as flat as possible and send them up. And now as you exhale, can you squeeze everything into the center? So the elbows come out to the side and back around to the side ribs as you lift up from the pelvic floor, draw up from the lower abs. And again, inhaling up. Palms stay flat as you can. Reach the fingers out to the side and then exhale, and everything draws up, the bungee in the lower ab and the pelvic floor. And last time, inhale, take those arms up. And now as you exhale, you're just going to do a little motion. Not a big motion, but you're going to work in this range where the shoulders are not coming up to your jawline. So if you lift your arms and the shoulders are squeaking up towards your jaw, you've gone too far. You have to change your range of motion. Good. And now bring the arms about even to, so your shoulders are level, your hands are maybe at like ear level. And now go out and in. So now you feel like you're squeezing a pencil between the shoulder blades. In the shoulder, the pencil drops, broaden between the shoulder blades. As you exhale, there's that pencil again, and you're squeezing the shoulder blades to that pencil. Hold, and then inhale out, broadening, the pencil rolls away. And as you exhale, someone puts that pencil back there and you squeeze it and hold that pencil. And now one more time, inhale, broadness between the shoulder blades. And as you exhale, squeeze in, catch that pencil and hold it for a little pause in the breath. Good, and then just allow your arms to come down and do some wrist rolls. And then do some shoulder rolls. Okay, you're still maintaining your core strength. You're not letting go. And now start to do some octopus. So the wrists, the arms, and the shoulders, and maybe even the neck a little bit get all involved here, but your abdomen, your hips, and your lower bodies, with the help of the block, all stay stable. It's from the belly button up that's moving around. Okay, that's what's going to keep you stable as you do your daily activities with your upper body, is to know that your lower body has its stability as you move in all different ways in your upper body. And then let the arms float down to your side. Good, and then bend the knees and take the block out. Okay, I did mention that we were going to use the chair, and so if you have a chair or a ledge, have the back of the chair or a higher ledge facing you. And you're just going to take your right foot forward and step your left foot back so that you're on your base of your toes. So your heel is not touching the floor, but the heel is pointing straight back behind you. Okay? Now you're going to take the back leg hand. So your left hand on the low belly. And as you inhale, you're going to come up so that the legs are straight. And then as you exhale, you're going to use that abdominal strength as you come down. A little harder in this position because the pelvis just wants to roll forward. Inhale, reaching up. And as you exhale, use your bungee cord there and zip up from the pubic bone to the navel. Hips are facing forward, hips face your chair. Inhale, come up. And exhale, come down. Good, and stay in this down position, and then just reach that hand that was on your abdomen up alongside your ear with the shoulder down. So maybe it doesn't come alongside the ear, that's okay. Keep the back heel pressing back strongly behind you if you can have a straight leg. Now squeeze your imaginary block. We just had a block between the thighs for a little bit there. Squeeze it so the buttocks are working. Yes? Feel the buttocks working? Okay, now go ahead and take that hand down onto your chair. Push off the back toes and step forward. So now we're getting into stability muscles that are more on the outside, but you're not forgetting your stability muscles on the inside. So taking the left foot forward and the right heel, toes step back. The heel is off the floor and the hips are facing your chair. Your right hand now is on your abdomen. And then again, as you inhale, you're going to come up so that both legs are straight-ish. And then as you exhale, back heel pushes back as the front knee bends. That's an exhale, and you're zippering at the same time. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming down, using that abdominal strength from the pubic bone to the navel. Inhale up. Exhale down, push back through the back heel. See how much you can keep that, get that back leg to open. And last time, inhaling, lifting up into straighter legs. And as you exhale down into your lunge, and you're going to stay in your lunge. And then take that right arm and reach it up. Left shoulder stays relaxed and dropped. Make sure that your arm is only as far up as you can comfortably go. No hunching of the shoulder. And then just hold and breathe and feel as you exhale that bungee cord from the pubic bone to the navel activating on every exhalation. And then squeeze your imaginary block between the thighs. Even though the legs are split, you can still feel that squeeze. It compacts the hips, brings strength. Good, and then take the hand down onto the chair, push off the back toes and step the feet together. Okay, lots of work in the pelvic region today. Let's walk back away from the chair and kind of loosen things up a little bit so the heels are underneath your buttocks, knees are bent a little bit, and just do some hula hooping. So that releases any tension that we created from that last practice. And make sure you switch directions so that you go the other hula hoop direction. Good, and then come to center, look up at your chair and walk in towards your chair. Okay, we're going to go back to the first position. I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this before you do, so that you're not confused when we get there. Let me just think a second. Yeah, okay, so you're just watching. So we're going to come down into our lunge again, and the back leg arm is the one that lifts. So on an inhale, you're just going to come up slightly, just a couple inches, not all the way like we did before. And then as you exhale, that elbow comes out to the side and your head turns away from the elbow. And you come down. Then on an inhale, so this is sometimes called the train whistle. You reach up, and then as you exhale, you pull down on that train whistle cord as you turn the head away from your elbow. Okay, so again, getting buttock strength and working on the upper back and neck. Okay, so we'll take the right foot forward, left toes lunged back, and just go directly into your lunge with the front knee over the heel. I can't see everybody's legs, but please make sure the front knee is over the heel, or a little behind it's okay, not forward of it. Good, hips wrapped around towards the front. Take your back leg arm, so your left arm, and reach it up. And then just come up out of the lunge just a couple inches. And then as you exhale, pull the elbow out to the side as you turn the chin away from the elbow. Inhale, come back up. And your head centers. And then as you exhale, pull the elbow out to the side and turn your head away from the elbow. Good. 2 more times. Inhale. Coming up. Oh, don't forget about your zipper. We've just added upper body stuff. But don't forget about the pelvic floor and the abdomen as you come down on your exhalation. Good. And then coming out, the arm comes up. You come out of the lunge a little bit. Place the hand on the chair. Push off the back toes and step the feet together. That's a little bit of a workout. But we have another side to do. So take your left foot forward and your right heel back. And just go directly into your lunge and look at your alignment, that your front knee is over the heel, that your back heel is pointed straight back behind you, and that your hips are faced forward. You still want that feeling like you're squeezing a block between the thighs. Then your right arm lifts like we did before. Inhaling, come up out of the lunge just a couple inches, and then as you exhale, the elbow pulls out to the side as you turn your head away from your elbow. Look away from your elbow. Inhale, come up just a couple inches out of the lunge, and then as you exhale, go back deeply into the lunge, the back heel pushing back behind you, and look away from the elbow. Inhale, the head centers. As you come up, make sure those hips are faced forward. As you exhale, take the elbow out to the side and the head turns. And then we have one more time. Inhale. This time, really remember your bungee and your embroidery. Hoop, exhale, and turn. Okay, then coming out, the inhale, coming out of your lunge a little bit, the exhale, bring the hand to the chair, push off the back toes and step forward. And then let's go right back into our forward bend with the back of the chair. If you have a little bit more flexibility, you can bring your hands down a little lower on your chair. Maybe there's another little rung there, or the seat you could place your hands on, only if you can do this without hunching your shoulders. And then go ahead and bend the knees and straighten the knees. So when you inhale is when you bend the knees and take the chest forward a little bit. So kind of like cat-cow. And then as you exhale, we're not doing the cat part here. You're just straightening the back and straightening the legs. So when you inhale, go ahead and bend the knees, lift the tail, take the chest forward, shoulders back. And then as you exhale, straighten the legs and lengthen the back, pushing the hips away from your hands. And last time, bend the knees, open the chest, lift your tail, shoulders back. And as you exhale, draw the navel back, lengthen through the spine, and just stay here for a couple breaths in your forward bend. Keep those shoulders pulled back away from the ears. Make sure you're not dumping your belly forward. Stay engaged in the abdomen. Draw the abdomen back towards the spine like the floor is there. Then to come out of your forward bend, do bend your knees, look up towards your chair. If your hands are low, walk them up to the high part of the chair, and then step in and come forward. Good, let's go ahead and come down onto the floor. We're just gonna do quickly, get my chair out of the way. Onto the belly. We want to strengthen the low back area. So we'll come up and just lift one leg without lifting the hip, and exhale down. And then lift the other leg and exhale down. Okay, so on the bellies. This is another thing, and along with butterfly, that's a really good thing, again, defying gravity. As we get older, gravity bends us forward. And so we have to work with the upper back strength. So your arms are at like a W on either side of you. Chest is on the floor, and you can have your head turned to the side. Okay, this is also neck stuff. You can just let the neck relax on that side. And as you lift your leg and come up, you're going to turn your head to the other side. So the first leg that we're going to lift up is your right leg. So let's go ahead and have your head turned so that your left cheek is on the floor and you're looking to the right. Okay, and now on an inhale, come up, the head centers and lift your right leg, not the right hip. And then as you exhale, right leg down, come down, the head turns so you're looking to the left, your right cheek is on the floor. And then on an inhale, lift the left leg and the head centers. Use your upper back strength. Remember that pencil you had to squeeze? See if you can get that action here. And then as you exhale, come down, leg, chest, head turns to look to the right, Inhale, coming up with the right leg. Squeeze the pencil between the shoulder blades. Nice, and then exhale, down, head turns to the left. Get the upper back involved. Inhale, take the left leg up, come up, and use the upper back, not the neck so much. Tuck the chin a little bit, good. Exhale, come down, and then one more time on each side. Right leg, left leg. I can't see everybody, but please make sure that you're using your back strength, that the neck is tucked, or chin is tucked a little bit. Good. Exhale down, and then finishing with the left leg coming up. Okay, so we start getting into making sure your lower back, upper back, stay strong against gravity here. Good, all right, and now go ahead and just as gracefully as you can, roll over onto your backs. All right, and so anytime that you do a back bend like that, you want to make sure that you do a forward bend to even yourself out. So you're on your backs, and this time, because we are at the end of class, we're not going to be doing these big abdominal contractions, but you still want to make sure that you're involving your abdominal muscles as you do your knee to chest pose. So taking your knees in towards your chest, one hand on each knee. Make sure that your chest, your shoulders, your neck, your jaw are all relaxed. And just gently go back and forth, inhaling the knees away just as long as your arms go. Exhaling the knees in towards your chest. And just take a couple more times to do that. Heels stay dropped towards your bottom, nice and gentle. And one more time. And then on your next inhale, just let your feet come all the way to the floor. And just to release some of that abdominal squeezing that we did, we're just going to do a little bit of windshield wiper. Debbie, I want you to be really careful. Anybody with a tender low back, you don't want to just wrench your legs around on your low back like that. So just go really gentle. The rest of you, the knees and the feet together, arms out to the side. Take an inhale with the knees upright. And as you exhale, you can roll the hips and the legs over to the right, the head to the left. And then inhaling the legs back up to center, head centers, and exhale the legs over to the right. Or opposite, wherever you are with that. Inhale the legs up to center again. And just do a few times back and forth, rolling over onto the pinky toe side of one foot at a time, stacking the feet, stacking the knees, and as much as you can, stacking the hips. Just to loosen up any tension from our abdominal work today. Kind of like the washing machine. Just rinse and soak, squeeze and twist. So now just finishing up with making sure that you end with the left side. That was our second, or whatever was our second side, just finish with that, left or right, whatever it was for you, and then bring your knees up to center. Just give them a little hug before you take your legs out for Shavasana. So just a little hug there, just to massage the low back, another place we worked a lot today. And then when you're ready, you can put your feet down and either have your legs up on the chair or a little roll underneath your knees, whatever works best for you to relax your low back. Okay, now soften your body on the floor. Quiet your face all across the eyes, the forehead, the cheeks, the lower jaw. Softening all across the shoulders. Feel the floor supporting you and your shoulders dropping more heavily towards the floor. The arms completely relaxed all the way down through the wrists and the hands and the fingers. Softening in the belly, the lower back. Feel relaxed and soft, and now in the pelvic area, the whole pelvic bowl, the buttock area, all around the hips to the front. And then where the legs attach into the pelvis, feeling that area, that joint there on either side, left and right, just relaxing the legs, letting them go. Use your exhalation to just let the legs go. All the way down the thighs, back thighs, front thighs. And then in the knees, relaxing all around the knees, behind the knees, the fronts of the knees, inner and outer knees. Feeling a softness there. And then all the way down the lower legs, calf muscles, the shins, the ankles. And then down through the feet, feel where the heels are resting and allow the feet to just soften into that support. The inner feet, outer feet, bottoms of the feet, tops of the feet, and then out through the toes. So relaxing all the way through the length of the toes, out through the tips of the toes. And now for the next few breaths, just feel like you're an open channel. From the top of your head, all the way down through the shoulders and arms, through the torso, the hips and the legs, through the feet. Just feel the flow of relaxation as you exhale. Like you're an open channel of relaxation, soft and quiet. And then slowly waking up your body by wiggling the fingers and toes. Bring your body to life a little bit more. Bend the elbows, bend the knees. And when you feel ready on an exhale, you can roll over to one side, coming out slowly. Gently open the eyes. And then use your arms to push yourselves up to a comfortable sitting position. Sitting up tall on your blankets or your chair. Just take a moment sitting up tall just to feel any different feelings than when you came into your class this morning. And not only in your body, but perhaps in your breath, in your mind. And then bring the palms together, bringing a gesture of gratitude into your heart for all of those parts of yourself, your body, your breath, your mind, and also your heart space. And for this practice of yoga that helps us integrate all of those parts of ourselves into wholeness and health and happiness. And anything else you'd like to bring into your heart this morning with gratitude. And then gently open your eyes, and the light within me greets the light within you. And namaste.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I went a little over time. I hope that didn't crunch your day in any way. I just can't help myself sometimes. But we'll see you in 2 weeks then.
Thank you again so much. It felt really good, even though my legs were shaking.
Yeah, and feel free to contact me if you have any more. Yeah, well, it's probably good for yes.
Thank you, Llewellyne.
So much, Llewellyne. That was just outstanding on the lower pelvic area.
We'll see you